lateness. I also want to take a little bit of liberty today before I introduce my co-host to you. I want to read a little something to you real quick. And what I want to read to you hopefully will be in theme with today's perspective, which is going to be the language of dating and sexual relationships. Does game work? The language of dating and sexual relationships. Does game work? But in the meantime, I want to read something to you real quick, and it's titled I See You. I see you looking at me because I was staring at you, thinking about all the things that I want to do. Your physical has affected my mental, making me want to get spiritual. Can we get married? Oh, by the way, what's your name? Damn, your name is the same as my mama's name. I knew we were meant to be together forever. But you can't go out like that on your back in the back of a Cadillac as we just met tonight. Even though I feel it's right, no time I won't argue. I won't fuss and I won't fight, but expect a call tomorrow night so you can tell me how you saw me looking at you because you were looking at too, thinking about all the things that you wanted to do. I see you. All right. What's going on, brothers? Let's get this show kicked off this evening. I wanted to start out. We missed my man last week, so we definitely wanted to get back to our therapeutic perspective. JP, what's happening with you, man? Glad to have you back.
Oh, it's glad to be back. You brothers had a great show last week. I enjoyed it. Was dying laughing. That was a good show last week. It's good to be back. It's good to see you brothers.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I want to spend next to my man. They call him the talent. He's what people come to the show to see. LV, what's popping with you, bro?
Hey, I don't know about all those adjectives, but that's what you say. I'm struggling over here today, man. I'm having a problem with my lighting. I don't know what's going on. I may dark out on y'all and go 0 dark 30. I don't know, because it's kind of you need the proper lighting to see all of this. You know.
I thought you were just trying to do sexy black on us today. I thought you were
See
trying to
all
do
of
sexy
this.
black. My main
Johnny
man with the
Quick's
big
right on time.
perspectives. Where he go? There he go. He's coming back to me.
There you go.
Johnny Quick, where you at, bro? What's going on with you, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I guess today I'm going to be the one that has internet problems. So, besides that,
I
I'm
hope
doing
so.
fairly well.
Man,
I
that
hope to
new
get you a little right.
compound you in, man. When you stay a long way away from everything, they got to they probably need to get you some underground cables. Put your stuff
He probably already
underground.
got them. He probably already laying them himself. So
You know.
listen, let's kick the show on off, man. But I want to do it a little bit different tonight. So again, I appreciate you all giving me the liberty to play with the show a little bit. So we're going to jump into our topic. But within our topic, I want to do a good, bad, and ridiculous to lead us into my question, right? So just bear with me, play a little bit. So, does game work? Is what I really want to get into. So, this first one I want to throw out there is going to be a good, bad, and ridiculous. And LV, I'm going to throw this your way first. And so, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to give you the first part of it, and then I'm going to answer a question, and then I'm going to give you the last piece of it. And I want you to tell me whether you think this could be game or rather it would be good, bad, and ridiculous. So
Okay.
imagine me in a club and I roll up on a young lady and I say, how I wish I was you. And when she says why, I tell her, so I can make love to me. How I wish I was you, so I can make love to me. LV, from a game perspective, is that good, bad, or ridiculous, bro? Could you make it work?
Yes, you can make it work.
You knew he was gonna say yes.
You have to know the young lady. You need to have observed her a little bit, maybe some of her conversation and where she may be at. You know, that could work. That could work
It could work.
if it's the right young lady, because it's gonna catch her off guard. Because, like he said, if you could be so lucky to make love to me, she's gonna be like, "That's one arrogant motherfucker," or "God damn, that shit is fire."
So she might give you that fire, huh?
Yes, you may catch her on a bad night. Maybe her and boyfriend, things ain't been going right. He pissed her off. Maybe they broke up. She out with her girlfriends, and all of a sudden, you're a strapping fellow. You ain't hard to look at either. And then you hit her with some shit like that.
She
And
might grab her. She might grab her purse and be like, "Oh hell, let's go do this."
well, no. Then if it's been last call or not, if they done blink them lights, yeah. Yeah. Now,
So, JP,
it's all in the delivery. It's all in the delivery of the line, though. Everybody,
I would agree with that.
Everybody can't use that line.
True.
Right. So, JP, let's switch it over to you. So
I wouldn't be able to
I wish
pull
I
that
was
off.
you, so I can make let him in. You couldn't pull it out. So
No.
for you, would that be good, bad, or ridiculous? Where would it fall on the spectrum?
No, I think it's good. I just don't think I could pull it off.
Why not?
When I was single, I don't think I was ever smooth like that. I don't think I ever had any lines. I'm a conversationalist, and so conversation was my way in. That's way smoother than anything I could ever thought of. But I like it.
All right.
I think it's good.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So what that actually does is it actually sends me into my first question, and I like the way that you said that that whole smooth piece. So my actual question, getting away from the good, bad, and ridiculous, and I know I didn't hit on you, John, but I want you to get in on this question. How would you describe educated nonverbal game? Is there strength in silence? And this question is kind of built around the fact that I know Leslie had texted me last week and was like, men and women don't date the way that they dated when I was. Game is different, so people are now doing more internet and in the club. It's just a different vibe. So, Gerald, JP, how would you describe educated nonverbal game? Is there strength in silence? Is it more conversationalist? Where would you go with the game, and how would you fashion it being? Or even how you approached your wife back in the day, since you say you didn't use game. How does that nonverbal educated game look? Is there strength in silence?
I have never been good at being nonverbal either. I always got something to say.
Time out. Let's get off note real quick. Let's get off note real quick. You admitting you talk a lot.
Under these circumstances, I don't think I can avoid admitting it. No other option. Like, I'm not good at silence.
Okay.
So that might be a better question for Johnny Quick. I'm a conversationalist. Like, I don't really know how to shut up.
So
the whole strong silent type, I don't think I could pull that off either.
So for you, it's not game. It's also not the silent type. So you're in this conversationalist mode. What does that mean?
I'm lucky I ended up married now that we getting into this, because I'm not good at most of what you throwing out. My wife is like, why am I with this fool? Conversationalist. For me, I've always kind of had the gift of gab and able to engage people. And so I always took a very simplistic approach of just being my natural, real, authentic self, because that has always been successful for me.
So in other words, you at the club giving women therapy?
Well, I'm empathetic, which is a part of therapy.
Yes.
I'm sensitive.
Yes.
And that has worked. with women. Women like somebody who is, I'm gonna tell you what I think women have really liked when it came to me. I was raised in a family full of women, so I understand women on a level that a lot of men do not. And so because of that, that has always made things easier for me, because things that women oftentimes have to explain to men, the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus, they didn't really have to worry about me being from Mars. I understood Venus.
Mm.
And so that was always something I could use to my advantage, is being raised in a family full of women, strong women, intelligent women. I was able to relate to them on that level, because that's the only kind of women that I
So,
would ever be attracted to also. So they were a good fit with my upbringing.
okay, okay, okay. I want to go back to another good, bad, and ridiculous. I want to throw some more game at you, and uh, John E. Quick, this one's coming to you. So this one is: you're just as pretty in the front as you are in the back. You're just as pretty in the front as you are in the back. John, is that good, bad, or ridiculous? Could you make it work?
No, I couldn't make it work. Uh,
That's not what I thought he was going to say.
no,
I thought he was gonna say he could make it work. Why not,
I
John?
did too. I did too.
because see, I'm not a game. Life is not a game. So to throw out some lines like that, see, Gerald said he has the gift of gap. I have the art of communication, and so
Uh-oh.
I couldn't come up here with a line and say, you look as good in the back as you do in the front. That's kind of cheesy for me. I'm sorry. So no, I couldn't make it
So
work.
with that
It
being
would
said,
it wouldn't come across
go
very
ahead.
genuine. So that's the reason why I couldn't make it work, because it would sound cheesy.
Okay. With that being said, you this question.
Hmm.
And I was thinking about this question with you in mind. So I'm glad that you said you went down the path that you went down. So my question for you would be, what is your love tool? What is your love tool? How do you open women up to the grown man experience? And by that I mean, is it the voice? Is it gifts? Is it vocabulary? Is it how you dress? What is it? And I understand what the grown man experience is. But you also have to see someone and say, I'm interested. I think she's ready for the grown man experience. And then you have to approach it and provide an opening for them to be invited into the grown man experience. So, what is your love to? How do you get someone? How do you get a woman prepared for the grown man experience?
It's all in how the situation presents itself, because every woman is unique, and so I don't use the same cookie cutter approach for each young lady. I come with what is that young lady and what appeals. If it's her perfume, if it's visual, if it's the mind, and this is what I said many moons ago. You play to the audience that you have, and I hate to say you use the bait, because I'm not fishing for anyone, but you play to the audience. So if I'm sitting there, it depends on the setting we're in. If we're in a club, it's going to be pretty loud, and so you can't really have that conversation where you talked about last week with isolating. So you have to kind of look at the situation. We out in public. I'll give it for instance. I was out of town last May, and this young lady, I went in there with no intention. I'm pretty much a flirt. I'll admit that. I'm a flirt. I went into there with the intention of buying cologne, and I'm not buying cologne for men to smell. So I asked the young lady, "So, what cologne smells good? Do you feel smells good on a guy?" Because that's I want a woman's opinion. And from there, it led to some other conversation. Um, and she was like, "Oh, I have a youthful look," so she didn't know how old I was, and so she gave me some cologne. She's like, "Oh, I get this for so and so, blah blah blah." So I use jovial. I'm very, very funny guy. So I played on the fact that the guy she used to date was an older guy, and I made fun. I'm like, "Oh, you just picking this out for because I'm old?" No, you're not old. Blah blah blah. And then once I get that little smile or once I get that attention, then I can move forward and go where I want to go with that.
It's a
And that
wrap.
was game, my friend.
And so that's what I was going to ask
That
LV. I
was
want to come to you. I'm
game, my
glad you said
friend.
that.
That was game.
LV, I'm glad you
That
said
was
that. So I
game.
wanted to come to you. I want to come to you real quick. So from your perspective, and I respect the fact that John said he doesn't use game, but he's a flirt. So from your perspective, what's the difference between flirting and game?
You know, I've never been asked that question.
I'm like, that's a tough question. Now, hell, you
Honestly,
giving us a damn test
hey,
at this point.
hey, hold on a second. Let me take a sip. I got an answer for you though.
I really don't know the difference.
Okay,
Oh,
here
I
it
can tell
is.
you the difference once
No,
everybody
here it is.
speaks.
I mean, it's a thin line. Just like they say, it's a thin line between love and hate. It's a thin line between what some may call game, but that's just maybe your personality, and maybe you're very quick witted. So you will be able to say something to play off of the situation and make it a comedic thing, like, oh, damn, that was a good line. Nah, the shit was true what I just said though, wasn't it? Oh yeah, you right. So I
Mm,
mean, so it's like I said, that's why I said it's all in delivery. It's all in delivery because I'll tell you something that may sound corny as hell, but it it helped me get get the door, open the door into, I would say, what ended up being like a 10-year relationship. It was in a
mm,
I was in an office setting with this particular young lady. And when she was walking away from my desk, because there had been some little flirtations, back and forth for, maybe a couple of weeks. And this one day, when she walked away, I mean, y'all know me, I love me a woman with a nice size rear end.
mm.
And when she has heels on and a certain little strut, and she had come to my desk, dropped something down, I had to sign, and she said, "Oh, I forgot something. I gotta go back and get it. You gonna be mad? I gotta come back over here." And when when she walked away, I thought I said it under my breath, but I was like, "You can walk away from me any day." And she stopped and she was like, "What did you say?" Nothing.
So, so listen. I know we jumped into that one talking about what's the difference between flirting and game, but let's get back to the good, bad, and ridiculous.
Wait,
So
wait, wait, can I
you're just as
real
pretty
quick?
in the front as you are from the back. I'm sorry, what was that?
LV said something really interesting. Let me just real quick. LV, when you said, like, it sounds like what you're saying is the difference between game and flirting is game might just be a line, whereas flirting is grounded in reality. Because what he said is that if he said to her, "Yeah, but it was true, wasn't it?" And she's like, "Yes," you have grabbed her attention with the fact that no, I'm not just saying this to be saying it. What I said is the truth. So it's a
Okay.
sincere compliment.
Well, hold on.
That
Okay.
might
Well,
be
hold
the
on real quick.
difference. It sounds like that's what LV is saying is that's the difference between game and flirting. Flirting is grounded in reality more. Am I right?
Okay. Well, let's
Yeah.
jump back. Hold on real quick, Gerald. Before you ask him if that's right, let's jump back for a minute then. How I wish I was you so I can make love to me. That is one of the most sincere lines I've ever heard. Because if I was her, I can make the decision to make love to me. So that ain't no line. That's real talk, right? So is the difference between flirting and game? Is it based in reality, or does game have a negative connotation where flirting doesn't? JP.
I think game involves more creativity. It's like the difference between poetry and prose. It's kind of like that. The way you're describing it, it sounds like game is just more creative, like poetry might be, whereas flirting it doesn't involve as much creativity.
But you know what? Let me just interject one thing.
Okay.
Basically, because like what I said, what John's method was when I told him that was game, even though you're flirting, that's a form of game. I mean, it's all just a game. And for real, it's all just a game.
Flirting is a form of game.
Yeah, yes, they're one and the same. So to say that you're a flirt, does it mean that nah, you ain't got no game? Whereas as you have some people who think, okay, hey, I bet I can go pull her, and go over there and try to say some old slick shit, that's more on the game. And so I mean, even though, saying, hey, I wish I was you so you could make love to me. If that's your first interaction with that woman, that's strictly game. But once you've had interactions with that person, y'all joked about different things, maybe something she likes, she knows something you like, and then you happen to hit her with that at the moment, like, damn. And she'll be like, what? Oh. And then give her that line. So her head already gonna be feeling some kind of way because she's so comfortable around you. Because see, one thing that made me really comfortable around beautiful women, I started working in a call center at a very young age. So I was exposed to seeing women come in with all this makeup on, heels on, smelling good all the time. And then I worked with them, and I don't know if they didn't perceive me as a threat at that time or whatever, but hey, they always wanted to talk to me. And once we had communication, you're like, oh, you so silly. Are you so cool? I got this friend that you would just be perfect for, da 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 da. Really? Oh.
So with that, LV, let me ask you this. Let me ask you the same question. And John, I apologize because I'm still in your grown man experience. So I'm giving you credit while I'm stealing it from you, bro. So the question that I asked John is, so what is your love tool? How do you open a woman up to the grown man experience? Your version of it. So are you saying that just the general interactions, almost like what Gerald was saying, being a conversationalist, being able to interact with people on a day-to-day basis is actually your form of, for lack of better terminology, your form of game, and your opening to get in? Is it the voice, the gifts, vocabulary, dress? What is it for you that opens women up to the grown man experience? One. Two, what does it take for somebody to catch your eye to make you want to give them the grown man experience?
I would say what helps me, I'm not perceived as a threat because of my interaction. My initial reaction, I don't care how fine they are, how tight the body is, the wolf ears don't come out and no fangs. Look at them just like
You
they
filed
just
them down.
you got
That's what he did. The thing.
That was slick. That was pretty slick. But anyway,
So no, I threw that out there because me and Laverio go back a long time, and I know your father had a nickname back in the day, and I know you got a tattoo in memory of your father. That's why I kind of threw that jab at you right there, just having a little bit of fun. But back to you, bro. Go ahead and finish that up.
but like I said, I just treat them as though they're just the average person. Just because you're beautiful and you got this super body, I don't give you any additional attention. If I have a reason to talk to you, I do, but I'm not always up in your face. And what I found, especially with beautiful women, the people that don't just sweat them all the damn time, that's who get their attention. Then they have an opportunity to actually get to know me and actually talk to me. Now, what makes me and see, and one thing that may be my fault, I'm like this with everybody. I try to communicate, even though I ain't like John gonna say I hate people and I don't want to talk to people, but I ain't gonna say I don't like everybody. People that know me for real know I don't like a lot of motherfuckers. I don't. But I will be, I am very cordial with everyone until you give me a
Okay.
reason not to be cordial. So
So I
now,
want I want
but let me
to I
tell you
want to
what.
piggyback.
But what gets
Okay,
my
go ahead. Go. You
attention
good? Mm-hmm.
is, I'm physical. I love me a woman with a nice rear end. I love me a woman with nice
So you're
bounce.
visual.
Yes, I said I was visual.
Okay.
Ain't
Okay.
no, I can admit that part. I'm past that part in the program. Uh, I like a woman that has nice, bountiful breasts. I like to rest my head on those pillows. I like to caress them. It's not. I'll blame that on my mother because she breastfed me so long,
Bruh,
and that's as nice as
listen.
I
You
can
know
say
what?
it.
And I gotta go ahead and stop you, bro. That
And then
ain't
I
your
like a
mama
pretty
fault.
face too. Pretty face,
that ain't that
pretty
ain't your mama
face.
fault. That ain't your mama fault. You've been off titties for a long time. You've been off and back on as a grown man for a long time. So, JP, I kind of want to transition this over to you because Laverio LV says something, and I want to piggyback because I want to understand what your love tool is because you said you're a conversationalist, and I want to understand how you open women up to the conversation. But before you get to that, Laverio said that he likes beautiful women. I'm coming to you because I want you to define beauty for me from your perspective through your eyes.
Mm.
And John, I'm coming to you next on this defining beauty through your eyes. But all right, so JP, define beauty through your eyes. But I also want to hear about what is your love tool and how do you open women up to the conversationalist that is JP back in the day.
Okay. Beauty, there's internal beauty and there's external beauty, of course. Um, I place more weight and value on internal beauty, but at the same time, we have to acknowledge that it is the external that initially grabs our attention. And so I do kind of like how a woman carries herself with a level of self confidence, um, and that she is well kept. And by that, I mean, it's nice if she has taken the time to, make sure her hair is combed and that she's dressed well and all of those kind of things. But once you start that conversation, it's about the internal. And so, um, as a single person, I do like to think that I did a decent job of quickly assessing one's personality type to see if it would be a good fit with my personality type. So the question of how do I open up to how do I hope open them up to having a conversation with me? I like I said before, I took a simplistic approach of just being my regular, real, true, and authentic self, um, and knowing what my interests are and what my values are, and being honest and true about that, and just having faith that women would be able to relate to those things that I value and that I find to be important. And so, yeah, I care about things like, is she intelligent and is she able to express herself well? Does she, is she in tune to different things and, how people are affected by life and all these different things? Because to me, that's a part of the internal beauty is being able to connect with somebody on our commonalities. Does this person value the same things that I value? Does this person care about the same things that I care about? And so this is a reason why, as a single person, because I do tend to like a decent automobile, for example. And so for me, what do you think? Why are you laughing?
A decent. Oh, just go ahead and say a luxury
Cause
car.
you're an automobile
Say
snob.
I,
say foreign. Say ain't got to be a foreign.
Yeah,
Preferably,
I'm just
you're an
saying.
preferably a
automobile
German.
snob. You know what
Hold,
I'm
Preferably a
saying?
German.
my point is,
Preference
And
is
it's
it's
never.
German.
and it's very funny. It's
I
very funny
never.
how you define beauty. I thought that was very interesting. And
The internal, external.
no, I knew that
No,
piece. I knew you would.
All the
I
other
knew you
stuff
would
you
go
threw in.
there. Yeah, especially the external piece. Because I think all of us have had the pleasure of meeting your wife, and we have a clear understanding of what external beauty is
Mhm.
right in your home. So that's very clear. So it was very interesting to actually hear you define the woman that has caught your eye from an external beauty standpoint. So I thought that was very interesting. I thought that fit her, and I thought the internal piece fit her as well. So it was very interesting to watch you live with the beauty that you just described. But John, I'd like to hear you describe beauty. And I'm curious if you're going to go to the internal external piece because I also, and I'm throwing an expectation. I almost expect you to go there for a couple of different reasons, and if you don't, we're gonna kind of tap dance on your nerves as well. So, define beauty for me, man, from your perspective, through your eyes.
beauty for me is like artwork.
Mm,
Because you have to look at it from the standpoint of beauty. It could be the scent, it could be the conversation, it could be the slightest touch. That's kind of the beginning of the beauty. And then when you just sit there and talk to a young lady, and that intellect just hits on point, that kind of gives you that captivating beauty. And then when you start going a little bit deeper, when she cooks a meal for you and you get that define of soul food because she put her soul into it, no matter what the meal is, when she's taking time to prepare a meal for you and shows how much she cares for you, that brings that little beauty of her, the way she is around with her family. If she has children, the way she demonstrates how much she loves her kids, or and showing their love for them before her love for herself. Because you'll see many people, they look, they got top to bottom, they look fabulous, all the brand names, and the kid running around here with a snotty nose. And so when you showing that beauty, as far as I'm putting my kids in front of me and making sure they're taken care of. When you show how you operate around your family, when you show you demonstrate a meal, and then how you handle business, how you are involved in the community and making sure others are well taken care of. When you give of yourself and not requiring so much of I want, I need, and take, that defines the inward outward beauty. It's the whole artwork, the whole piece that makes up this, as they say, this Rembrandt, if you will. And so you can, and the cleanliness, the hygiene, because any of these things are connected, and if one thing is off, it makes the person instantly unattractive. For instance, they could be all beautiful. You walk into their house and their house look atrocious. You walk into a situation where you with colleagues, friends, or whatever, and the conversation just collapsed, and it's like that's not cool. Now, don't get me wrong. Like we talked about that movie, I love somebody who can ride in the car and sing "Nuck If You Buck" when that moment calls. But if we're going to a gala, you gotta be able to be able to change it up real quick and be that person who needs to be at the gala. You have to be able to assess your surroundings and adapt to what you need to be. That's where the beauty comes in for me. Is you are superwoman and you make it happen.
and that was all encompassing, and you really hit on the intellect piece. You know we was gonna jump on you if you hadn't thrown that in there. So we're gonna let you ride. We're gonna let the Rembrandt be a beautiful picture that it is. So listen, my picture is frozen. So I am going to jump out. But before I do, I want to give you all a question. I want you all to throw this around and kind of debate this. Well, not debate it, but kind of give some things. I want you to look at this and give me one nonverbal key that a woman gives that places you on notice that she's interested or she's sending game your way. So once again, give me one nonverbal key a woman gives that places you on notice that she's interested or interested in giving you game. I'm gonna jump out and I'll be right back. If y'all throw it around, JP, get that started for me if you don't mind. I'll be right back.
All right. For me, a nonverbal key is that certain look.
Eye
You
contact.
know, that
Eye contact.
the
Yes.
eye contact and that look that is different from the look when you in the friend zone.
Or what are you looking at? What are you staring at?
Right, right. But I think you can see it in the look.
You can see the coyness in the eyes. You know, they'll maybe cut away, but they gonna constantly make eye contact with you, and when they see that you make it, it's gonna, and when it lock, and then usually when they break away, you get a little smile. You know, they get it's a little smile.
Right.
And if they're with their girlfriends, then it's some whispering between the girlfriends. And then if you play it right, you just put yourself in the right position where you like see our periphery, you can see the other eyes over on you. And that's like, okay. And you know,
All of that,
and
all
unless
of
they
that
got
lets you
looks up
know.
discuss, you know, unless they got looks up discuss, they like, okay, oh yeah, girl, yeah, yeah.
Because at that point, you know you have gotten her attention. And
Mm-hmm.
she's wanting you to know that you have her attention.
Right. Now it's on you to either fumble or get 10 yards, you know, move the chains, stay on the field. Let's see. You know.
Right, right.
Well, I'm gonna go take you to that old school saying, and you really know it, and some of the new school had to learn it. When you see that come hither look,
Go on,
and
John.
and so when you see
Go
that,
on, John. Give them some free game when they come hither. Yeah.
so when you can see that come hither look, that means you could be in a crowded room, but y'all made that connection one on one, and so you know when it's time to do what you need to do, make it happen, change numbers, dip off, whatever you need to do. Y'all have that nonverbal connection that you know it's time to move on.
But now going back to what they were talking about on the game shit, I will admit I did do this one time, right? Had made the eye contact, right, JP? So and then John, I got to come hither, right?
Right.
How about I stroll right by her? Didn't even smile when I walked by, went to wherever I had to go. And then when I came back through, kind of did the same thing, but I was watching her the whole time. So when I seen her move away from her little group, you know, that's when I pounced. And, you know, I had a meal,
A meal.
a successful hunt, a
Oh
successful
my Lord. I just
so
Listen,
get,
picture
I came in
like
on the tail end of
get
that.
in the interact,
Right.
get in, you making the interaction, you know, being able to communicate outside of that place that we met.
I came in on the tail end of that, and I didn't feel like nothing good could have been said.
right.
And that's why explained. Well, I explained because I know y'all try to give somebody some undue credit. So
A
you know what I'm saying?
meal.
Hey,
But we're hunters.
hey,
And when I say it was all game, and honestly, that was I ain't even gonna say it was a situationship because I didn't even put in the energy. It was just one of them things. I want to see if I can pull her. Because actually, I was with KB. We were at a bar in Louisville, And like he was egging me on, like, dude, go ahead, go ahead. I'm like, man, nah. Now he like, she keep looking over here. I'm like, man, nah, that woman don't want me, you know. And like I said, I was feeling myself that night. I was kind of impeccably dressed, you know. I did look the part, you know. I
Say if you do say so yourself.
yeah, and I do say so, you know. Hey, I was fly that night, you know. If you would have looked at me, you'd been like, oh man, you know, he has to have a Lamborghini out there somewhere.
Oh, they
And
just thought you was riding
and
with
it was how I
JP.
carried myself, you know.
Mm.
And hell, I was driving an Infinity, but hell,
Ooh, I tell you,
Mm.
I'm just low man on the tone pole living this world with y'all brothers.
All of you fools drive luxury cars. First thing.
no,
So
I drive a Nissan. Thank you very much.
And
I
I
drive a
drive.
Nissan right now. I currently drive a Nissan.
when did a Cadillac become called a Nissan? That ain't you
I
don't
know
call
I have a
Cadillac.
Nissan. I have a Nissan Maxima. I do have a Maxima. I have a Nissan. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, no undue credit
So
here.
so listen, I had to jump out as we all know. Did everybody kind of get to hit on that nonverbal piece while I was gone?
Yeah, it pretty much was the eye contact. And
Yeah,
John brought up
Okay.
the come hither look.
the come hither.
You know.
I want to say
So I
something else. Go ahead.
okay. No, no, you go ahead. Run with it.
I wanted to say something else about the internal beauty because what I was saying about that internal connection, similarities, commonalities, things that a person has in common. Because Coleman, you had mentioned about my wife, and it made me think about the fact that my last four relationships were all prior to my wife, three relationships prior to her were all with women who work in mental health, which means we shared that same passion for helping others and passion for children. And that is a part of my value system. And
Okay.
so I hadn't really thought about it much until now. It's not a coincidence that I have dated women who shared that with me. And the thing
That's
about
one way of looking at it.
earlier when I was talking about, despite the fact that I kind of enjoy a decent looking car, the reason why I would never approach or try to talk to women when I would be in the car is for the fear that their value system might not match mine.
Hold on. Time out.
Because, no, if you think about it, because a lot of men use cars to
And
attract
material.
They do.
women.
Yes.
They
A
do.
lot
I
of
just remember.
people use,
I
a lot of
remember when you
men
had that
use,
Firebird.
but I would never. It used to get a lot of attention. You know, you pull up to the stoplight and the woman is checking out the Firebird got a lot of attention, but I would never try to follow up on that because how was I to know if it was me or the Firebird? You see what I'm
Listen,
saying?
listen, listen. We were
It
somewhere one
throws
night.
off. It throws things off. A car can throw things off if you trying to avoid a gold digger,
You just
What
got,
year did
hey,
you
if
have
you
that? What year
navigate
did
that
you have that
road,
Firebird?
huh?
What year did you have that Firebird?
What year was that? Um, was that in?
Why?
I
had to be
think
Why?
late
Why?
90s.
Why you
it
think you
was
gave
like
that Firebird?
'95.
Yeah, I thought that was
So
late
because
90s.
I want us to
It
recognize
was
how far back this
'95.
goes,
So
right?
I had it in
So
'95.
so I want us to recognize how far back this goes. So we at Chris Bryant's for a Halloween party in Kansas City, Kansas, and my sister Rhonda was there. My sister Rhonda was alive at the time, so Rhonda was there. And I remember this distinctly because everybody was like, man, this is woman downstairs partying her ass off. And I was like, excuse me, that's my sister. Yeah. She don't get out, but she um so
That's my girl.
so
Mine too, G.
yeah.
Love
So this
Ronda.
girl walked up,
Yeah.
this woman walked up in the party and had on a cat suit, a black cat suit at
Oh
that,
my.
with a mask on. And somebody in the party says, yo, let's go outside and talk. What was outside? The Firebird. But anyway, we go.
Oh, that was my car. I was focusing on the cats. I needed to hear what she was gonna say to me.
But that
J,
car helped her ears hear, helped you hear, and helped her
listen,
hear what she was
listen.
going to say. Yeah.
Everybody in that party was trying to holler at her. Gerald said, let me give you a distinguisher. Let's go outside and talk for a minute.
Ah!
They, them wings in the wind for you. Let's go outside and holler for a second. All right,
Okay, let's
listen.
say this. I still had that car when I met my wife, and she hated the Firebird.
She probably knew you had
So
miles
But
on it.
how old were you when
Okay.
you had it when she met you?
She probably knew he had
what?
miles on it.
Hell yeah.
She probably heard about that
That
party.
car was 3 months
Uh,
when I bought it.
so listen. I wanna jump back real quick, right? Because we've done a couple of different shows, and we asked a couple of questions. And I want to throw something out to you, but I kind of want to set it up real quick. So we've talked a lot about women who are saying, if you can't pay for my friend's meal, if you can't do these things for me, I don't want to date you. And so, from my perspective, there seems to be this imbalance in relationships. And I want to phrase that imbalance in the form of a question. My question, I'm going to ask all of us to approach this and answer this question from whatever dynamic or perspective you want to provide. But my question is, why has the price of vagina gone up while the value of penis seems to be going down?
I don't know who was that
Yeah.
in the background, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I want us to address that question. And like I said, I understand we all use different forms of language and things of that nature. And so you may want to rephrase the question in your own light. But my question again is, why is the price of vagina going up? Why are we paying these astronomical prices and having to buy 10 friends meals and all of these, while me being a hardworking man, just being a everyday man who, wants to provide, do for his kids, do for his home, that seems to be lacking value. Why has the price of vagina gone up while the value of penis has gone down? So you've been very quiet on this show, Johnny. Quick, so I'm gonna throw this one to you. What
Mm,
say you?
mm,
I
mm.
sh- I shop at Goodwill, so
That
You
is
know what?
so nice.
I'm not even going to tag that. I'm not even going to tag that. You shot be good with.
He is not messing with
Come back to the original question,
though
sir.
he no. There's no way for
We
me to
now
say that appropriately, but come on,
um
we let
quick.
it slide. We let it slide when you didn't say you hate dumb women. So we let that slide because you went on the intellect. You gonna have to answer this question, bro.
Right.
um well, I'm gonna put it like this: is what you put value in. So so if it means I gotta pay for your attention, that doesn't give me much value. So that's where it goes back to that whole beauty and 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 the value of that beauty. Then I'm not, if I feel that there's a connection and there's some value there, because see, a person only pay what they're willing to pay for something. And if I don't feel I'm gonna get any return on this investment, I'm not investing in this, no matter if it's time, money, or anything. So there's no return on the investment. So when you say the value of the JJ has gone up, it really depends on
Oh,
who you're talking to, and when you are secure in who you are and what you accept, then that brings your value of your penis up, because you show that, you know what do we all bring to the table. It's not what does the guy bring to the what does the lady bring to the table. And if we're balancing each other out, then it's not a problem. We're not looking at I'm buying your love, I'm buying your attention. It's looking at how do we merge this relationship together and be successful. But if I'm coming in here with the purpose of I just got to pay with materialistic stuff and that's how I get your attention, for me, that's not how I operate. And so I'm good with being by myself if there's not a connection because I'm not trying to chase you down and pay for your attention. That's just me.
Okay. All right. JP.
I I think that age affects the price, the value of both penis and vagina. I don't agree that the price of vagina has gone up and the price of penis has gone down. I think that as you get older, the price on both increases, determined by your level of success, accomplishment, um, your level of wisdom, intellect. That is what drives up the value of both penis and vagina. All three of you are very successful black males in your chosen professions. That has driven up the price of penis because I see a lot of single women in therapy who are looking for men who are the three of you. And their perspective is that it's slim pickings out there, and you three successful men are rare and extremely difficult to find. What they frequently say is, I can't, there are no good men out there. There are no men out there that are on my level because those women who are accomplished and successful and have been on the planet long enough to attain a level of wisdom, who have some intellect, they're looking for men who can match that. And they constantly say that it is rare. And all of us know women that we went to school with who are in the position of struggling to find men who are on their level and who are secure enough within themselves to handle a woman who's bringing home the kind of bacon they bring in home. So I think that life and success and passion and dedication to one's profession and success, that's what drives up the price of penis and vagina.
But the question is, why has one gone up more than the other and considerably more? And I have the answer for you,
I
Mark.
don't think the price of penis has gone down though. The price of penis
Okay,
goes
LV.
down for those who fail to have a level of passion to apply themselves to their chosen profession and be successful in it. And on an intellectual level, on a life wisdom level, I think that people who are lacking in those areas, that's what decreases their value. I don't think that in general, as people get older, they lose value. I, that's not typical. I don't think it's typical or standard.
I'm waiting to
LV.
hear LV's.
All right, let me do this. Real talk. This is the
He said
main
real talk.
reason. This is the main reason why, and what JP doesn't agree, but and this is the perception out there, and what women are constantly pushing out. One is that know your worth. I don't have any problem with saying know your worth because you don't have to put up with any bullshit just to be with somebody. But on that know your worth, are you selling yourself? You might as well be a prostitute if that's the case. If you're going to the highest bidder on who has the most, material things. But this is what really fucked the whole game off on that whole scale.
Well,
And
speak your piece.
it's social media. It's social media.
Social media?
Because you have all of these women that's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, with these so-called images.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these women going out getting all these different procedures done on their bodies. So they're spending all that money. So they're saying, hey, in order to get with this, you got to spend some money. Now, there are men that have money to spend, and it doesn't mean anything to them. It's because like the old saying, right? It's not tricking if you got it. So they're willing to pay. But then you have other women that aren't maybe not totally in that same class as those women, even though and they still may look good, this, there, and the other. And a lot of them women on Instagram, as far as class, they ain't got no fucking class because money doesn't give you class. You can't buy that. That's something you have. It's either in you or it's not. You can't buy class. But so then you have other women like, well, hell, in order for a nigga to be with me, he gotta buy me something. He gotta do this. I can do this. I can do all this on my own because it's more people that they can expose themselves to get them out there to the ones who it ain't tricking for them. And then you got some gonna go out there and trick because that's the only way they can get that female attention. And then especially to get female attention looking at that perception of where everything is in this world that we live in now. 30, 40 years ago, all you had was, okay, the woman you met, okay, that's your main chick. You may have a side chick or two. But now the illusion with social media, I'm not limited to these two that live in the city I'm with. It's like 4 or 5 in California. It's some out here in New York. Oh, if I give them a little money, I might get something. And that's what has thrown it all up. That's what's thrown it all up.
And a lot of women, you hear them say, you hear them say stuff like on social media, he flued me out.
Yeah. If you can't flew me out, you can't talk to me. And then you see all these fools, and you see these other videos of these fools where they done flew these chicks out, spent all this money, took them to eat. Then they think they're going back to the hotel so they can, huck a buck and camel clutch. And the chick is like, no. That
wasn't part of
now, them the fools. Because for one, ain't no way in hell, I don't care what kind of video calls we done had, phone sex, whatever. Unless you done told me, hey, I'm gonna do that thing you like. You gonna do that thing to me that I like. I'm not spending no money to fly you in. You know what? The most I would be willing to do if the conversation is right, you fly your way in, I'll fly you back.
I was watching Jada Pinkett speak. Just 1 second, John. I was watching Jada Pinkett speak, and Jada Pinkett said, I missed it when stripping went from something that people did trying to make ends meet to a profession. And when you look at it, you're talking about the video women, you talking about stripping, and it's not just women, men are doing it too.
Yeah.
You talk about all these professions that used to be nobody in your family wanted to know it if you were doing these things, which includes dating for money, getting flued out, and stuff like that. Now those are things that people like Laveria was saying on Instagram and Twitter are saying, yo, this was the come up. This is how I got it. Sex workers, this is a whole line of work that used to be frowned upon. And I'm not trying to make judgment on it, but now if you look at Twitter and some of these other things, everybody has an OnlyFans, sex work, da-da-da.
But
so
bro,
there is a value
something
in
as
that.
Simple as their feet. There are women that sell feet pictures for $100.
Yeah, so there is a value
that
in
wasn't
that.
an option.
Yeah.
30 years ago, that wasn't an option.
Yeah, and where you don't see women really buying pictures of men's feet. You know what I
Mm-mm,
mean?
mm-mm.
John, I cut you off a second ago, man. I want to swing back to you. What was you gonna say, bro?
Oh no, there's nothing. I would just want to acknowledge we have a few viewers with comments, and we will definitely read them and respond to them. One comment I just want to make mention, it says, "Know your worth has nothing to do with solely with your finances."
Hmm.
So they wanted to point that out, but we had some comments about.
But see, not all women look at it that way, and I'm glad that person brought that up.
Yeah, and it was interesting because John was the one talking about knowing your worth and how that fits into relationships and not having to be a financial backer of a relationship. Everybody's coming in. What are we all bringing to the table? So I thought that really spoke to what John was saying. What was the next comment, John?
I was saying that we have a few that talked about the value of the P. I'm gonna read one of them. I wish I could get to all of them, but this was really poignant. It said the value of the P goes down because men have a hard time controlling their physical desire in order to do the proper level of investigation, and then later leverage the value of V based upon you holding out as a man to accomplish what you need to in a relationship with your partner. So it's used, and they
Oh
had made
shit,
another
that was a
comment,
good
but
one.
usually using your
At my
genitalia
age,
as a
I've been
tool.
holding out too long. Shit.
So wait a minute. Are they basically saying that men decrease the value of their own penises by throwing it around so freely? Because
Well,
Hmm.
anything that is easy to access
yes,
is cheapened by that, and that is what decreases its value. Men are causing their own value to decrease. Is that
Right.
what y'all think that the person is saying?
yes, because they
That's
were
what I read
talking. The
from it.
next comment
Not
was
well.
using your genital as a tool.
I kind of took it because they were saying that she said something about being so we're so pressed on it. I guess trying to want to have sex so fast with the person that's what
Hmm.
devalues it in the
Right,
woman's eye
right,
because you want to
Hmm.
get with her so quick. But I
right.
mean, on the
It's
flip
easy.
side, when you get to be a
Yeah.
certain age, I mean, shit, either we gonna find out if you like it and I like it or not. Let's not waste each other's time. Shit, fuck the bullshit.
Yeah, but it's like it ain't. I don't think any woman goes to the club and says, if I want to, I can't walk out of here with somebody. Whereas we go to the club and we'll be like, man, I wonder if I'm going to get lucky tonight.
Right?
They don't have to guess. They
No,
know
they
they
don't.
can if they choose to. It's
Exactly.
always guesswork for us because we're so willing to put it on the table, roll the dice, da da da.
Well,
But
I
see, you
don't
can
have to
also
have
look
it
at.
that night. I ain't trying to get it that night when I go to. Like I said, if anything, I just want a connection to see outside of here. Let's see how one on one really really go when there's no outside noise.
Well,
But
So,
that's
see,
a
so
really good
let me ask you
comment because
this.
that
wait.
comment is saying your value is determined based upon how you carry yourself, sexually and otherwise.
And
If
see, the difference
you
between me.
cheapen yourself,
Because you're freely sexually, you're not cheapening yourself. I won't agree with that because you can say the same thing about a woman that go out or a woman that some people may call promiscuous. Okay, if she doesn't have an actual man, and hey, a man meets her fancy, and she want,
No,
and
And you know what? And what? But
I,
you
I
see the
think
difference
that's I
between
think
me
that's
and
off what they're
LV.
saying though.
Right. Well, see the difference between me and LV. I don't mind waiting because I feel
I,
like.
mean, I ain't. I guess to John, I ain't got to have it that night. You see what I'm
Well,
saying?
well, that's what I'm saying.
And no,
I,
and,
I
and I don't put a night now. If I'm spending constant time with you, I ain't gonna. I ain't going no motherfucking 90 days. I'm talking to you every day. I'm seeing you every weekend, and there's nobody else in between there. Hell
What
no.
about 89, LV? 89?
I ain't doing 89 on
he
that shit.
ain't 30.
Hey, I'm not
But
entertaining nobody else. I'm not
let's
entertaining
step
no,
back.
and no, and I can
Let,
see if we not really clicking, if we not clicking and it's kind of off, yeah, because I don't force nothing. I don't want
no,
nobody doing
but
nothing with me that they don't want to do.
But that's
But
the
let's step back
debate
real quick,
with that
Elvin.
listener. The debate with that listener is, are you decreasing your value by throwing your penis around?
But see, I
Or,
don't.
as what you're saying,
I'm taking
LV,
it from a
are you
personal
basically
perspective.
saying, I know what I want, and we're
I'm,
not going to play
well,
these
no, I
silly
guess I'm
games?
taking it personal because I don't throw it at them. I don't constantly. Oh, girl, you got to give it to me. They want to give it to me.
No, but I don't think that's what they're
Well, see,
saying though.
I
I
gotta live
don't
the life of
I
LV
don't think that's
because
what they're
ain't
saying.
nobody throwing nothing at me. So
I mean,
I
if,
don't think
if
that's what
I'm
they're
in,
saying though.
if I'm having interactions with a lady and it comes down to that part, they want to give it to me as much as I want to receive it. It ain't because
Well, yeah,
I've
because
been
you didn't.
pressing. That ain't my
No,
game.
but that's not. But that's not what they're saying though. They're not saying you're pressing to get it, and therefore you bring down the value. What they're
that was the devalue because you're pressing them for the
no,
sex.
what they're saying. No, what they're saying is what it said to me. What it sounds like they're saying is it's not whether you want to put it on the table or not, but the fact that we as men are typically so willing to put it out, there doesn't have to be value on it because they can have the pick of the litter,
Or even
right? So if I
I have
can
another
walk,
term for you.
so but hold on real quick. Hold
Okay,
on real quick.
go ahead.
So if I can walk into a store and there are 1,000 puppies and I can buy any puppy I want, I'm like, dog, you can't charge me $1 million for these puppies. You got 1 million puppies. The puppy should only be $1. Whereas you only got one kitten over here. Now the value of this kitten goes up because you only got one. And if you got multiple buyers, that so it's not whether I want to go out
supply and
here
demand.
and have sex a lot with different women. That's not the point. The point is if me is us as a gender are so willing to put it on the table, she doesn't have to value LV. Because LV can be over in that corner talking about, nah, I ain't hucking and bucking with you for 90 days, but she can turn over here and be like, no problem, they go Coleman. I know he good for the night. That's the devalue of the gender, not the individual.
But I thought they were speaking to how individuals
Right.
devalue
See,
themselves.
and where I
Well, they
think
are because
right.
as a gender, because we're so willing,
And
the
see,
individual
but
is
see,
devalued.
but I think where it's going with it, because like on a lot of the dating sites and stuff, and like a lot of single women that I've spoken to, they get turned off by men wanting to involuntarily send them, penis pics. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well,
The
hold on
question,
real
and
quick,
hold on, let me
real
finish.
quick.
Let me finish. And then even when they in the first conversations or text messages, they're asking them questions about their body parts, as far as how big their breasts are, or if they're shaven or unshaved. I mean, this is stuff they're asking before they get into real conversations. So that's the part of it where I think where she's coming from, saying that the men press it so that devalues it. And
Yes,
see, some men do that. See, that
Right.
ain't me though. That ain't
Right.
me.
right.
Sexual
But
the
I do think
sexual the
that's
Right.
what
sexual
they're saying.
conversation doesn't come up until she brings that in. Now, if she brings that in early, yeah, I can reciprocate and I know how to conversate and I still know when to draw back. But some men
Yeah, and
get one little.
the question then becomes how many men are doing that, right?
A lot of
And so if you
bro, it's a
have
lot
and that's so that gets back to the point. As a gender,
as a gender.
doing these types of things, because if we're doing them as a gender, now it brings down the individual value. So I get what you're saying, but I think it
You
encompasses
know the
all.
real
So
root of the problem
let me
is,
ask y'all this. Let me
the
ask
real
y'all
root
this
of the
one thing real
problem.
quick.
The real root of the problem
What's that?
is not enough and positive fathers in these young men lives teaching them how to
Yeah,
interact. Like you
that
always say, you would be with your pops and when your uncles come in town, you would sit there and you would just observe and you would
yeah.
hear things and you wouldn't hear none of that old fuck boy shit, which is what that is when men are doing that.
See, okay, so let me
So
ask
you
y'all this
yourself,
question.
so through osmosis, you don't do that. Okay. I had
Right.
similar male figures in my life, and that's why I don't do that. It's not enough of us to keep passing that down. That's where that comes into play, bro. That's
I'm
real.
interested in this whole I'm really interested in this whole dick pic thing.
The
So
unsolicited
we
one.
so
The unsolicited one. Them the ones
unsolicited or solicited. I was just in Spokane, Washington for almost 60 days straight, right, working. Not once did I send my wife a dick pic. When did this become a normal thing when we just putting our dicks on the internet and putting them in the airwaves where people can go out there and start picking them out? So I'm a little bit. So
I've
what
never
does it
Does
mean
understood.
when somebody
I've
starts?
never participated, so I don't understand.
does that
What does it take?
devalue a person? My only is he frozen? My only problem with that comment, I thought that was a good comment, but I think it applies to women also. I think that women are also in a position of sometimes devaluing themselves by throwing it around. That's not just something that men do.
But you know what? Like they say, shit ain't fair. Most things go toward the man's way on the chauvinistic type shit. That's one of the things that teeters for a woman, and they don't look down on it as bad. I mean,
But women have always complained that the double standard is that when a man is sleeping around, screwing everything, he's, just a player. When a woman does it, she's a whore.
but but see, they're changing that
That
narrative.
men are not devalued in that behavior, but women are devalued in that
And,
behavior.
and
And I'm saying that I think that what that listener was saying is that is something that men do that devalues the penis. But I'm saying that that is something that whether you a man or a woman, if you engage in certain behaviors or carry yourself in certain ways, you
you devalue
devalue yourself.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Because I know my work.
All
I
right.
don't
Hey,
just
listen,
sling my
man.
stuff around. I ain't on the corner slanging it. No. No.
Hey, listen. This
This
has
is too
been a
good to
very
give away on
interesting
the
show.
corner.
We're gonna have to come back and hit on this again, but y'all know I got to put my kids to sleep, and we run a little long for our listeners. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. Normally, I would go around the room and ask everybody for final thoughts, but this conversation has made me want to read something else. I'm thinking about Kansas City. I'm thinking about it being fall. I'm thinking about us being visual people, and those boots come out. So. I want to read something as we exit, and it's called "Keep Those Boots On."
And before you read
Um,
that, please like, share, and comment.
And
Please like
yeah, that's
subscribe.
and subscribe.
And hit that bell. Hit that
that's
bell. That bell.
Johnny
Hit that
Quick
bell.
is the management. I'm just part of the talents. Keep those boots on. Today I spotted you and instantly became turned on. It wasn't your hair or your nails. It was simply the boots you had on. Those boots represent so many things, like the journey from your toes to the place that will bring forth my offspring. The struggle to carry the battle on your back, lower wages, discrimination, sexual attacks, the fashion sense that makes you, you. Who in the world can rock jeans and boots the way you do? Today I spotted you and instantly became turned on. It wasn't your hair or your nails, it was simply the boots you had on. You stretch your stuff for all to see, but you only give that look of your love daddy. I appreciate what you do and I appreciate who you are. I appreciate all the things that make you a star. Just one request before you push on. The next time we make love, will you keep your boots on? Good show, brothers. I appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Love it. Love